Hello, my lovely people. We are going to try to tackle the same problem we've been trying to deal with all freaking week. And I don't have a solution yet. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of research that we still haven't figured out yet. One of the thoughts that I had when I was trying to figure some things out was that maybe we could just have multiple background tasks because the minimum time is for a background task to trigger every 15 minutes. The next thing that we need to do, let's try to look up register periodic task. All right, let's see. Example lib, here, register periodic task. To register method arguments. Foreground channel invoke, register periodic method task. And I guess this should go to Kotlin somewhere. Maybe we can trigger a listener. Flutter listener in background. How you can set up your isolate for background execution. Yeah, this person built it from scratch though, which is crazy. We want to fetch usage data when backgrounded. You can probably add a timer in the method and call the API. Okay, wait, I gotta write this down before I forget. So, the min periodic time is 15 minutes for a work manager background task. We want to check for usage data every 10 seconds, be time gated so that it happens every few seconds, and checks that only one app has changed usage data in n seconds. We can probably do this what do we think is comfortable? Like 5 seconds is a comfortable time, right? 5 seconds would be like the number represents how long it would take for somebody to be on a specific, like on a different app essentially. The timer delays for 5 seconds. We check the usage data. We see if they are on a particular app for the past 5 seconds. If they're switching between apps, then it won't count or whatever. Like we won't trigger the logic. But if there's only one app that has changed in the last 5 seconds, we'll assume that they are on that specific app and they're like kind of scrolling or doing whatever it is for a whole 5 seconds. At the end of the 15 minutes, it'll rerun the task and it'll also end the loop, and we'll do the math so that there's not any overlap. And if there's an overlap, it doesn't really matter. It just cuts it short. I think all we need is this. We need a dispatcher, and then we initialize it. In the example, do they initialize it through the button, or where they start the background service? Okay, so someone has a button to initialize, so you have to initialize it first by pressing it. So we'll start by doing a pragma, another entry point. It's another virtual machine entry point. It's an Android thing, so we should probably stop this. For one, we should see if this even works. So and we can do a print backgrounded. Let's see if this works. Okay, this is working. Okay, so now we're gonna background the app. It did work, but I think it might have crashed. Hold on, what happened? I think what's happening is we're grouping different life cycles, and the pausing and the hidden attributes are kind of being re-triggered. Let's try a hot restart. Now pause isn't going, it's working when it's hidden. It only happens once. That's a bug. I mean, it's a bug, but at the same time, like, I'm not gonna complain. Okay, that's the pause. Nice. If I re-enter. Okay, nice. Okay, so hidden is clearly not okay. Okay, so this initializes a specific method, and it creates a task with a unique name and task name, which means that if we go into the foreground and we re-enter the background, then this task will be refreshed. And so we don't have to worry about re-registering the task. All right, let's see how this goes. Yeah. All right, this is running. We background it. It triggers. Continue. native call background. Okay, we definitely need to stop the app, run it. Apparently that doesn't matter, but I guess it is a VM entry point, so it doesn't get refreshed because it is isolated. Let's try this again. Maybe it needs to be async and we need to wait for the future delay. There you go. Okay. Okay. We did it. It's delaying per second. And then all we need to do now is we just got to make it periodic. We do the math. Okay, so dispatcher, register. We register a periodic task. Don't care about the frequency because it's going to be defaulted. And then we'll say reset. And we have to have this run for 15 minutes. Okay, so to call back dispatcher, and this is going to go to an entry point, we need to pass the user profile. Okay, so it seems like it has its own shared preferences because it's a VM entry, so do not get confused. This shared preferences is not the same as, it's not the same as the shared preferences we set up in our main function. This is a VM entry point. Map string dynamic, perfect. Well, this is converted over to dynamic, so it may not. So instead, we should do widget dot user profile. So this now inputs data here. And then I guess that's the input data that's put into, yeah, into string dynamic. We would need to go into one of the other things. Where did I put this? This is what happens when you don't separate your models. Okay, let's just go to main. Let's see what the different models are. It's blocked apps page. So blocked apps. The way we would do that here is we would say, we would need to go into the context, right? We would need to do this. We would need to say build. Oh, I don't even know if build context is available here. All right, something like that. Oh, it reset? Okay, now what? Okay, it reset. Isn't it supposed to... Might be a little bit too close to... yeah, that's what I thought I could do. I thought I could just do... I just had the nomenclature wrong. Okay, let's try closing it. Let's try refreshing it. Oh, something like this. Because I just want to test this delay real quick. I think that's okay. Have a 10-second delay at the end, see if it resets. This is supposed to be a periodic task, and that's a string, and that's a string, and this represents unique task name. Frequency should default to 15. Oh man, we're gonna have to debug again, but that's okay. All right, we background again. Here we go. Inactive, hidden, paused. And now it should, this probably isn't working because the periodic task. So I wonder if this fires off in 15 minutes. I mean, it's clearly not working. Or I mean, it is working. I mean, we're making progress, which I'm happy about. 829, 43, right? 40, like 829 to 44. Yeah, I have a feeling that this is going to call. I need to see if this works at the least. In 15 minutes, if it does load, then all that means is we just need to set up another dispatcher. I don't know if we can call a method. We can probably call a method twice, right? There's a top level function which will be invoked. Okay, so this will always be invoked, right? It will always be invoked. And it is what will be triggered when we, it is what will be triggered when we register a task. Registering a task is what? Are we supposed to register first? No, you can register, you can initialize and then register. Okay, so initialize register. Let's do, let's call this first task identifier, and we'll call this first task, and we'll call this periodic task. Essentially what we wanted to do is we want this to just trigger off the bat, and we want this to start at the same time. And then we want this callback dispatcher to start, and then at the end of the 15 minutes, the periodic one will take over. This also registers the periodic task so that they're both going to be in like isolated worlds. And if we never get to the periodic task, let's say that the device shuts down, that's something we don't have to worry about because on restart, the periodic task would have already been registered. The one-off task will be ignored, and it'll take 15 minutes for our program to restart and check for usage data. And I think the goal here is input the data. We need to go to our overlay menu because our overlay menu has logic for this. Okay, so it kind of looks like that. And there's something that says it's wrong. What is wrong? I don't see anything wrong. I don't see anything broken. Oh, here. Oh, here we go. I think it's triggering. It's been 15 minutes. Okay. So it does trigger after 15 minutes. And now it's kicking off, which is fine. But now we're going to put, I mean, obviously we can wait until it hits 178, but yeah. I'm going to do this. Okay, cool. All right. So now it's a waiting game. Now we just wait until the timer goes off and we test if it works at all. And if it does work, then huzzah, we can end for the night. And if it doesn't, then we cry. Those are the only two options, really. I was so stuck on this project, and I'm so glad that I've been making progress in the past few days. I think this is still going. I think this will run indefinitely. I don't think there's going to be any issues here. Like, something I was worried about is if the app is closed, will this keep on running? I'm pretty sure it will, but we're going to test it in a little bit. If at the end of this periodic instance, if it doesn't refresh on its own, because essentially this is happening on a periodic time base. The task is happening every 15 minutes, but I don't know if the periodic frequency starts when we return a future value true. And if this is the case, then it means that if we set this timer here, like if we set this delay here, then in 15 minutes, we won't get a periodic refresh because we never returned a value true yet. And if that's the case, then we would need to have three we would need to have three tasks. We would need to have one that's registered off the beginning because nothing is going to run in the first 15 minutes. We're going to have one that runs in 15 minutes, and then we're going to have one that runs in 30 minutes. And so that way, the first one covers the first basis because the 15-minute frequency and the 30-minute frequency aren't going to run at all. And then the 15-minute one will run, and the 15-minute one will run for 15 minutes. And then by the time the 15 minutes are up on that, the 30-minute one will kick in. And then when the 30-minute one kicks in and the 15-minute one ends, because the periodic frequency ended on the 15-minute one, it'll refresh and it'll start counting towards 15 minutes again while the 30-minute one is going for 15 minutes, and it'll cycle. We'll do this for now. Like we'll obviously block it out, but yeah, give it 10 seconds. Did this work? Let's uncomment all of this. Let's build this again. All right, this is gonna launch. I'm excited about this one though. I'm pretty sure this is gonna work. There should be five. There's gonna be 5 isolated processes when we're done with this, I think. Oh, what the heck? Second periodic task. Oh, they're all running at the same time. Wait, what is going on? Second periodic task. Oh, whoops. Oh, whoops. This is, delay, initial delay. Okay, but apparently these are all running at the same time, right? First task, periodic task. Just exit out, work manager dot deregister. There's no deregister. All right, guys, we're going to pick this up tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining. I'm going to go to a movie night with some friends, but thank you guys for joining. Subscribe if you are watching this after I streamed, and I will see you guys in the next stream.